Hello and welcome back to my channel. It has been a very long while and I needed that break. I think I did burn myself out preparing for Penzic as well as doing all of that filming. Plus, again, things kind of went wrong in the house, and so therefore it was kind of hard to film for a little while just because of everything going on, but thankfully it was much shorter than last time. Now today's video is not necessarily going to be like fun and ooh, watch me make this cool thing, but it's about how you can make some cool things. And I had gotten this question a little while ago on my channel asking how someone would go about researching making a Japanese persona as well as making Japanese, medieval Japanese clothing. To start things off, you should always, like, especially as like a white person or a non-Asian person of color, treat people with respect, obviously. And second of all, like, just check other people on their racism. A lot of people around you aren't really going to necessarily notice their biases or like things that they are going to say. They're just going to say it jokingly because they think it's a joke. I've had a couple of people be like, oh, is that Chinese? And you'd be like, hey, no, it's actually Japanese. I've had a lady come up to me while it was nicer than I was going to be. It was like 8 a.m., hadn't even had my coffee, but I forgot the term for tying up your sleeves. It'll be like right here at the bottom. But I was tying up my sleeves and 8 a.m. Again, not even before I had my coffee, and this lady comes up to me and is just like, oh, are you practicing bondage on yourself? Ma'am? Ma'am. That's just kind of like a little preface of just being like, hey, not only just check yourself, but check other people. I was nice in being like, no, absolutely not. Another aspect about researching like Japanese life and culture, it can be hard, especially if you don't speak Japanese. I'm not going to sit here to tell you that you have to learn Japanese, but it does help to also, it's cool to know another language. A lot of my sources when it comes to doing like a Japanese persona more so come to a fashion standpoint, but these ones also do have some sort of minimal armoring part. There's obviously like so many books on culture that you can pick up. I'm not sure if I can recommend any at this moment, as I do have a couple myself, but I have yet to sit down and actually read them because I prefer reading like physical books, and so reading like electronic books for me is not the easiest to do. So to start out, the number one main resource that you can use to help research a Japanese persona or like fashion, and it even goes as to much, like it goes into like how a camp should look like, is the website Sengoku Daimyo. Now everything will be linked down below. Don't fret about that, but everything will be linked down below. But this is just going to be more so a talking portion of this video. But Sengoku Daimyo. It is the best website. It is an SCA holy grail. It was all the information there has been collected by someone who was in the SCA. Now I think the original founder has passed on, and people are continuing to keep up the website as well as the like information on there, and maybe adding additional information. Could be wrong about that, but it is honestly such a great website. It is the holy grail when it comes to Japanese clothing. It's got armor, it's got like culture as well as camp gear and like home kind of things going on too. And I really enjoy like doing a deep dive of this website. It even goes into like high-end color combinations, which were super important. I don't do high-end, so like I know that color was a huge component in women's fashion. Next up is the Costume Museum. This one is kind of a little harder to navigate. It's a website that's in Japanese, and then your browser can translate into English. Now, a lot of it is just mainly like costumes on dolls. Some of it tends to be mislabeled just due to like how things get labeled, and again the translation to English. But it's also another great tool because it helps you picture how outfits were usually worn and put together. Sengoku Daimyo does also help give clothing garments, but it's just how the garment is singularly, whereas it's just like laid out. It may have extant photos, but the costume museum has recreations and it's on like an actual living body, so you know and can figure out how it's supposed to look on a body and figure out how that translates into something that you can wear. Another great resource I love is Oribe Tsukimi's website. She does a lot of research herself, and she also is a large proponent in giving this research exposure on the Facebook group SCA Japanese. Again, link down below. There are a couple great Facebook groups that you can use. There's also a couple good YouTube channels that are great for quick information. Some that go into more armoring as well as just general like life and culture, like Linfamy. Linfamy tends to do more like Edo era, which is pre what SCA does. Edo is kind of 1600s and afterwards into like the 1800s. What SCA covers typically is the Sengoku era, Muromachi, Momoyama, Kamakura, Heian, and I think one more. But some of those tend to like overlap onto themselves, but that's generally what the SCA covers and what these websites can also offer. With all information that comes with researching the medieval era, whether it is like standard English or anything else in between, you always have to check your sources and that kind of thing. Again, so buying random books doesn't necessarily have a good deal. So finding well-sourced information books are also really good. I have this wonderful box history set. This is just kind of like a quick like information thing, more centered towards kids, but it covers, let's see here, Roman Empire, Mesopotamia, ancient Japan, Inca world, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, Celtic, the Celtic world, the Aztec and Maya worlds. So again, it's things to start off with are like good books, like good sets like this. And then other books like myths and legends, that kind of book, they don't necessarily have to be like the like religiously researched sources, because again, like myths tend to be changed with how people tell them, and it depends on the culture and whether or not that they have like an oral culture, because again, things written down. Things like this, also another good place to start. This is just also a really pretty book. My boyfriend bought it for me. For more SCA wise, if you really want to go into the deep depths of like what your persona did, again, like this is Selling Songs and Smiles, The Sex Trade in Heian and Kamakura, Japan. So this is more about sex work because my Japanese persona tends to be more sex work oriented. Now this isn't a book recommendation, nor is it strictly to like Japan, but like things that are generally around in history going on are also good to know. So this one's about the Silk Road and how it like impacts and stuff like that. So just one of those kinds of books. Unfortunately, I can't really give you any more stuff because I've only really started introducing like a Japanese persona in the last year or so. So everything I know is what's in this video. Again, like if you have any other questions, like you can message me. Like I have Instagram, I have TikTok. So if you have any questions, just like message me on like Instagram and I'll try to get back to you with what I can, or even just comment here on YouTube. And again, I'll let you guys know. Sorry this was such a like weird and short video. I hope it helps and I hope it points you in the direction that you want to figure out. With all of the PDFs I have on like Japanese culture and stuff like that, I will put together like a Google Drive and link it into this video so that way you can access them. A lot of like, again, what I'm sharing is more so like culture. I think I do have like a couple cookbooks and more so like how like the culture around food and like the ceremony around food, and especially tea ceremonies. So again, I hope this helps. And if you really enjoyed this video, I hope you do leave a like and or subscribe. It would help out a lot. And if you're even more interested, I have a Patreon. I'll be slowly creating and uploading patterns of garments I've created here on my channel, and they will be put up for free on my Patreon. My $5 tier will get the early access to them, as well as other things here. And so if you're interested in that, that's also linked down below in the description box. And so yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!